Badger Politic. I'm Scott Stearns.
Yeah, good evening. This is Paul Sickle speaking.
Hey, Paul. What's new? Do you have a relaxing Memorial Day weekend?
A little bit.
Yeah?
Not too bad.
Enjoy yourself?
Yes. Enjoyed a little time with family.
That's good. That's good. I was in Wisconsin Dells at the water park capital of the world, you know?
I'm sure you had some time with the family.
Yeah.
On a scorching Memorial Day weekend.
For sure. Yeah, we spent our time in the water and relaxing.
Was that place packed?
It was, it was a decent crowd, I would say, but where we stayed, they had all the outdoor and indoor parks open, so the people could spread out a little bit.
Right.
So we weren't like, on top of one another, which was nice.
Right. You wouldn't want to be, I would assume that the indoor parks would have gotten overbooked just because the odds of inclement weather this time of year. But the outdoor parks were the place to be.
Yeah, well, on the place we stayed, it's got both. So you can kind of migrate between the two. If you want to get out of the sun, you can still do that, and still go into the wave pools and the slides and all that stuff. So.
One of the times I saw President Obama speak in Milwaukee at the Summerfest grounds, he was talking about the need for families to be able to earn enough to be able to take a little bit of a vacation.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I know. Not that the vacation's the greatest thing. Sometimes you get stuck in traffic trying to get up past Madison. And you have to go on that long drive up to those water parks up in the Dells. I know where the Dells are. I've taken the family there many times.
I'm sure. Well, Michelle's got family here, so I'm sure they've experienced that.
Well, no, he lived in Chicago. That was
a
place where they took the little kids when he was a young state senator. Mm-hmm. Before he was back when it was a.
Back when he was anonymous.
Kenyan Muslim terrorist sympathizer president.
Right, before the truth came out.
Right. Sorry. Okay.
So other than that, we've...
sorry to give my ode to Trump there.
Right. So, we're into the official or unofficial start of summer with Memorial Day weekend just passing us, and which means we're running even closer to... the election season being in full swing, and
I would say
a number of races that we've been following, obviously, and kind of tracking our thoughts about.
What I just said about President Obama would be one of the reasons I think he had some popularity in Wisconsin was that he was able to come up here and speak credibly to the people. Like, he knew where Wisconsin Dells was. And he knew that's where you take your kids. Yeah. Because he'd experienced it. Mm-hmm. And I think that, as opposed to, say, John Kerry called Lambeau Field Lambert Field. Yeah. And I think we need to be thinking about that as we try to take back some of these seats. Who can relate more to the general public?
It's an important thing.
Who knows where Wisconsin Dells is on a map versus who can't even call Lambeau Field correctly?
That makes a big difference for people.
It's a big difference in the national stage, but also the local stage.
Oh, for sure.
There's no question that Obama probably got outsized margins in Wisconsin just because he was close from a neighboring state and knew the lay of the land. So there's that, too. Speaking of which, and we're going to talk about the governor's race in a second, we do a quick check-in now every week.
Yeah.
What are the odds, Scott Stearns, that the Democrats will win control of the House of Representatives? They currently have 193 seats.
Yep.
The Republicans have 241, and there's a vacancy because Louise Slaughter passed away in her Buffalo, New York area seat. So that would actually, most likely, if it held for the Democrats, be 194.
Yeah.
What are the odds that the Democrats pick up the 24 to 25 that they're going to need?
I think it's looking really good. The generic ballot is on the uptick for the Dems right now. I mean, it's been kind of fluctuating, obviously, as the headlines change, but the trending has been good. So I'm gonna say, I think it was around 70% last time we talked. So I'll take it up to 75% chance.
Okay, and how many seats do you think they actually wind up with?
You know what? I'm pretty bullish about it. I'm thinking when this is all said and done, I think they pick up 60 seats.
Nice. All right, 200, and I'll go with 253.
Yeah.
Damn, that is bullish forecast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling a little better as well. I go with 70%.
Okay.
And I'll give you 225 seats.
All right.
I'm going to go a little low. on the seat.
Just gerrymandering, or just
gerrymandering.
Yeah.
I think that the congressional generic ballot isn't all that impressive yet. Some say it needs to be over 7 points to the Democrats' favor. Then it's only a little less than 6, right? It's 5.9, I think.
Some of those polls in there, though, are we talked about a little bit, like the Reuters poll, and there's some others there's some outliers I think that are maybe skewing the results.
All right, what do you think of the Senate? We got 49 seats now, but we got 26 we have to protect for the Democrats.
And there's what, 8?
8 pickup opportunities.
I still am not thinking that they're gonna be able to take the Senate. I'm holding out hope that they hold on to 49.
Yeah. So
maybe they lose one.
You want to go with the whole 49 seats?
Yeah, I'm going to say 49.
We're going to start tracking this in a little 538 style graph on our thing.
We need to
on our homepage on Facebook. You'll be able to follow us there.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to see our predictions as they turn.
We'll kind of see the line graph.
What percentage? Do you want to give a percentage shot, or do you want me to go for it, or
percentage that they would pick it up?
That we win the majority.
Oh, I'm probably going to go, I'll say 35%.
Ooh, wow. It's higher than I go.
Yeah.
I'll go 15% Democrats take over. I'm going to go with 47 seats that what I actually think is going to happen.
I think that's
is
fair.
47. Governor Walker versus the field.
Yeah.
And it's a field that we're going to discuss. 10 of them made it to the Democratic, not primary, but Democratic convention as speakers.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a bit in terms of the names and everything like that, but it looks like we've got a locked field of 10 candidates on the Democratic primary side.
Including Josh Pade. That's the new one we had been talking about.
Yeah, but in terms of just, generic Democrat, whoever the nominee is, taking the governorship from Walker, I would go with probably 60% chance.
I'm going to go 45.
Okay.
And you know what? I'll go 50. I think it's a total jump ball.
That's the spirit.
It's a jump ball. What would the Democrats' percentage of vote be?
Oh, I think it's tough to get over that 5-point margin, so I'll probably say, you know what? I'm gonna say it's gonna be 52-48.
And I'm going to right now say it will be 49-49.
All right.
Recount.
Perfect.
And there'll be 2% left over. Actually, you know what? I still wonder if McCabe or some jerk will do some sort of third-party thing. So I'll go 48-48. 48% to 48%. First one to 49 wins.
2 percentage points to an independent. Well, I assume there's a libertarian candidate running. So actually, I probably shouldn't say 52-48. I should probably say I'll say 51-48.
Okay. 51-48, and I go 48-48. So we both have the same number for Governor Walker. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Assembly, Dems have 35 out of 99.
Yeah, I mean, they'll pick up some seats, but they're not going to be able to overcome the map. I think the districts are just the borders, the lines are just drawn.
So you're certain they can't take over the assembly?
You
want to go with 0?
Well, never say never, right? But I'll say it's probably I'm going to say 5% chance that they could they can overcome the obstacles.
I'll go 10.
Okay, I was going between 5 and 10.
I'll go 15. I'll get a little more bullish. I think that if the wave happens, I think there's a pretty good chance you could get to 50%.
Okay,
50 seats. It would be a real wave. But
it would have to be something, yeah.
I'll go 15%.
Okay.
How many seats do you think they get? From 35 is the baseline.
I'll give them 10.
You give them 10 more?
Yeah, so 45.
Okay, so I'll actually think that my median scenario, I think they're going to have only 42 seats.
Okay.
That's my feeling. And that I feel a little uncomfortable. I'm going to go down to 41.
All right.
I think I think all things equal, the Democrats have 41 seats in the Assembly versus 58 Republicans.
Yeah.
You think 45, 54. All right. It could be.
I think that's optimistic.
I think you're on the high side, honestly.
Yeah, I think so.
We can check in next week and see how you feel. We can later on start posting maps and stuff about where things are breaking out. Right now, in the Senate, Wisconsin State Senate, you have 14 Democratic seats with a big pickup that happened earlier in a special election, which the Democrats hadn't held since 2000, going into the 2000 election. They lost it that year. And so they went from 13 to 14. The Republicans went from 19 down to 18. Mm-hmm. And the Republicans, there's an open seat as well.
Yes.
So what do you think?
I think they actually have a decent chance to take the Senate, particularly if they manage to take the governorship. I think the Senate could probably follow that.
What about gerrymandering?
There's that.
The governorship in a narrow election, a 51-48, probably is going to be dominated by really good turnout in Madison, Milwaukee, maybe Racine. Is that enough to carry a majority of your Senate seats? So?
Yeah, that's the trick. So, I mean, I'd still say it's under 50% that they would take it. I'll say 40% chance that they take the Senate.
Okay, next week I'll go first. I'm going to go with 30%, 35. I'll go 35.
All right.
And how many seats? What do you think they're going to wind up with?
I think they maybe pick up. All right, give me 2.
So 16.
Yeah.
I will say 15. I think they pick up either. You know what? I'm going to go with 16. I think they're going to pick up 2. So there's one in the Appleton, Fox Cities area where Ballot did really well. There's also one in the southwestern corner of the state. And there's 3 or 4 more that are all kind of, if there's a wave, kind of seats.
Yeah, they can get kind of caught up in that.
Yeah, if the wave happens, they might get all. That's the thing.
Well,
and
that'd be nice to see.
But this would be a wave beyond winning the governorship.
Right.
This would be, they would actually, 16 or more, they're probably winning the governorship.
Yeah.
If they win the majority, it's almost certainty they're going to win the governorship. The Democrats. So speaking of which, we've got a Democratic Convention, State Democrat Party of Wisconsin.
The Wisconsin Democratic Convention is this weekend in Oshkosh.
Oshkosh,
home of Ron Johnson, Senator Ron Johnson. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Also home of the most liberal voting county in the northeastern section of the state.
Apparently.
Winnebago County.
Yeah.
Went for Obama twice. It did go to Trump, but by a closer margin than Outagamie County or Brown County. But that's Appleton and Green Bay.
So the convention in the state is this weekend. It's Friday the 1st and then into Saturday the 2nd. Mayor Pete Buttigieg out of Indiana.
Nice pronunciation, Buttigieg.
Yeah. Mayor Pete from South Bend will be speaking as the keynote speaker Friday night. And there will be, there'll be 10 speakers running for governor on the Democratic side. So we've got on the list, because the signatures are due this week. So
what's the list? I'm going to write these down.
So the list is Tony Evers.
You're going to want to put some effects on that one. Tony Evers, Captain Excitement.
Yeah, current state school superintendent.
Someday I'm going to play the voicemail he left me when he was trying to raise money. My phone. That was really riveting.
The former head of the state party back in the day, Matt Flynn.
Oh, Matt Flynn, yeah. Mr. Current.
We got Andy Gronick, Milwaukee area businessman.
Andy Gronick, okay.
We have Mike McCabe, who was the former head,
who might be a Republican, who might be a stalking horse, I don't know what the fuck that guy's up to.
Wisconsin Democracy Campaign guy. Firefighter Union President Malin Mitchell. All right. And then the one you mentioned earlier, attorney out of Kenosha, Josh Pate. Relatively unknown name in the field, but
any women on this ticket here?
there should be the next one in the list is former state rep Kelda Roys of Madison.
Kelda. Killer Kelda.
And then we have the mayor of Madison, Paul Soglin.
Ooh.
Been mayor forever.
That's real current, too. That'll definitely get the millennials excited.
State Senator Kathleen Weinhaut of Alma.
Ooh, Kathleen Weinhaut.
And then to round out the list, State
Very
Representative Dana Walks of Eau Claire.
Oh, and that's even more excitement.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the list. That's the
like
10.
A giant thud.
I think it
comes into.
I think it's whittled down.
When
we talked early on, I think when we started talking last year about what the field was going to look like, I think we were looking at like at least 15. So it's whittled down some, but it's still quite a list. What do we think here? I mean, I know we thought we narrowed it down in the past when we got down to 6, but now that we're at kind of a cap of 10.
So it was a low bar. All they had to do was produce 2,000 signatures to the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
By last Friday, showing that they had enough to qualify for the ballot.
Yeah.
I think the test should have been higher. It should have been show us 4,000.
Maybe
just because 2,000 signatures. Granted, it's a little more challenging when there's 58 people running for.
But when you're running
governor.
Statewide, you should be able to do that. You're not limited by like a
2,000 is not a hard number to get to. To run for Milwaukee
What's
School
the window?
Board, you have to get 400.
What's the window of
about 6 weeks? I
6
think
weeks?
6 or 8 weeks.
So,
I mean, it's not very hard. I mean, we got 932,000, I think, to recall Walker within the space of like 8 weeks.
Yeah, so it's definitely doable.
I think it was 7 weeks we had 930,000. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Well, we'll see how things pan out. I mean, if it doesn't work out, they may need to go back to the drawing board and say maybe we should change some of the rules. But we have the field we have right now, and
yeah, they should have had a tighter rule. It should have been at least 5. Honestly, they could have asked for 10,000. I mean, I wonder if there's some legal bar against that.
It could be,
but they should have asked for it. Show real organization. If you can't do that, get out of town.
Well, it's definitely, this field is more open because there wasn't the party kind of coronating a candidate like has happened in the past.
Right. So go show you can get 10,000 people. You have the capacity to do that.
Sure.
If that means draining some resources, to go knock on some doors or what, you know what? You shouldn't be in this game if you don't have enough resources to do that.
Yeah. Well.
And maybe this would be a test. The test should have been higher. It was. It's good they had a test. It should have been more.
Well,
honestly,
we'll see where things go. But on this list, I guess, who do we think's the front runner right now?
No one. I mean, technically, it's like we ask this every time we talk. It's Evers.
Yeah, just because of the name.
Right. The ones that seem to have any traction, as far as I can tell, would be Evers, obviously, with the name, the DPI secretary. I think Flynn actually is getting some attention on his marijuana legalization.
Yeah.
Obviously, McCabe has his renegade thing. I don't think it's that strong because I think it just tends to appeal to older voters. Malin Mitchell just got the AFL-CIO endorsement.
Yeah.
I know the union movement's only 8% of Wisconsin workers. Union families are a lot more. And I think that also a lot of people wish they were in unions. And I think that will carry some weight.
What about Kelda Roys?
Kelda has had some really good straw polls at events that she's selectively organized at. And her messaging has been strong.
It's good press.
Good press. I don't think she relates real well to voters directly, except people that think like I do. I think if you're a college-educated white liberal, she's a great candidate. The problem is that's not the majority of the population of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Not even close. If that were the case, Walter Mondale would have won the state's electoral votes.
Well, I think if you look down the list, I think they probably all have their challenges that they're going to have to overcome in terms of putting together a solid campaign, and there probably will be things that they all need to focus on.
I think Roy's will have deep support among a lot of college-educated, probably mostly white voters, and I think it'll be in somewhat younger voters. I think she's a real force in the 10-person primary. I wonder about the breadth of her support.
Okay.
If she can get it beyond that. I mean, I've listened to her. She sounds, if you know the issues, she sounds really good. Mm-hmm. If you don't really know the issues, but you're just generally dissatisfied with Governor Walker and you don't like Trump because you think he's kind of a bigot, and you know, she is not necessarily connected to you, as far as I can tell. And I've seen audiences with her in front of audiences. I don't see the connection.
All right.
Paul Soglin, less of a connection than Kelda, by far.
Yeah.
Holy cow. The mayor of Madison, I mean,
that's just
if you're a retired college educated
if you went to UW back in the 60s
from Madison, who's lived in Madison for at least Dane County for all of the last 50 years, and you're retired, and you're at least have a college degree and have done some graduate studies, and you dodged the draft in Vietnam. Not that there's any, like, that's an honorable thing. Maybe he has some appeal to you.
Yeah.
But I think we just slice that down to about maybe 2% of the population. Good day.
Yeah. I
don't think he has the appeal at all.
No.
Vinehout could have broad appeal, but she doesn't build a deep campaign. Like, that's the opposite of where there's potential for broad appeal, kind of the opposite of Roy's. Mm-hmm. But she hasn't developed a deep campaign infrastructure or a sustainable
that too,
infrastructure.
and I think she's made some what I consider to be strategic errors around the gun issue and some other things. So.
In an effort to broaden her base, I think.
Of course.
While at the same time alienating the grassroots people that could propel
That's
her.
That's the problem. Andy Gronick, Dana Walks. I mean,
I think Dana Walks may still have some currency because it might be something to boring is good.
Yeah.
And he had all this institutional support behind him. That said, I think in the long run, I don't think that'll go real far. I think that Vinehout will probably compete with him for the rural vote, so to speak.
Sure.
So I see kind of Soglin, Vinehout, Pade, and Gronick being the odd ones out.
I think so too. And I think when it comes down to getting resources,
right.
I mean, the money's going to start flowing to people that have a shot.
That are in it. Evers, Flynn, McCabe, Mitchell, Royce, and Walks. And honestly, I think there you could do an undercard and an overcard.
Yeah.
I think the ones that probably don't go very far, Flynn and Walks, and possibly McCabe. McCabe would be on the bubble. I think it's Evers, Mitchell, Royce, and McCabe race.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think that's probably accurate based on how things are looking today. Things can change. Mm. You know, like things go out of the blue.
Right.
Headlines happen.
I think Soglin is effectively going nowhere.
Yeah, I don't see any hope for his campaign.
I think Vinehout is effectively going nowhere. Pade's, I don't know. I won't rule him out yet.
I just don't know enough about him. I even went in preparation for this. I went on his webpage and there's no substance on it at all. I mean, obviously there's ways to give money.
Right.
He's got his campaign ad on there, which is a cute ad, but he has one word in it, and he just says Wisconsin. And I was able to learn nothing about his campaign.
He has some sort of corporate experience outside of the state, and there was some supposedly feminist website that liked him before.
Yeah, I mean, he may be great, or he may be right. He may be great on the issues, but I was not able to get any really decent information. Maybe I'm going to his website. Maybe I should be on his Facebook.
I think he and Gronick are kind of appealing to the same crew, although I think Pade probably would have more of an upside.
He's from Kenosha. Yeah, Gronick's from Milwaukee.
Also just Gronick's less relatable. I mean, I still think Gronick's strange. I mean, he's, his whole thing about that whole law, the fact that he dropped out of the workforce to do a lawsuit that he won, good for him.
Yeah.
And I suppose he deserved to win it. That said, it didn't look all that great. It looked weird. So I think Groenick's going to be out of it. And I really think Flynn's on the border to being a non-factor too.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I were to rank, I'd say I wouldn't be able to distinguish right now who has a better shot between Malin, Calda, and Tony Evers.
Yeah.
And then I would say the fourth best shot probably would belong to McCabe or Wax. I give McCabe it barely.
Yeah.
I'll tie it with Wax. And then I would say Flynn would be about sixth on a good day.
Okay.
So, but watch out. Watch out for Pade, man.
You never know.
You never know.
Never know.
So, I know we're getting a little wonky here, but this is the next governor of Wisconsin. This is going to replace Scott Walker, and it's time to start getting to know these candidates.
Yeah, the primary.
We don't know
really
them.
Quick.
So,
primary is less than 3 months away.
And I would really like it if listeners would start weighing in on our Facebook page or even offering to come join us and discuss this too.
Yeah.
Because I'm open to ideas because I'm not certain. I don't think.
I don't pretend to know all the answers.
We go to a general election, honestly. I got real questions if Evers could hold his own against Walker. I highly doubt Flynn could do it. Groenick almost certainly couldn't, in my opinion. I don't think McCabe could do it because I think he's running this ridiculous campaign where he's not
raising any money.
Not raising any money, and he won't get his message out, and his message will be too highfalutin. It just won't. It won't connect.
Not against campaigns
he's not
to be
Bernie
funded.
Sanders.
Walker's campaign is going to have so much money. You have to be able to compete with that.
McCabe appeals to the same people as Calda. If you're college educated, white and liberal, which is kind of what Soglin appeals to too. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. No. I think Mitchell could be formidable because he's black, and I think that'll bring out the turnout in the Milwaukee area and other urban areas of the state. And he's got good union connections, and I think a lot of people in the state have a fondness for labor, despite the fact of what happened in Act 10. I think labor, if anything, is more popularity than it was when Walker took office. It's not more. It doesn't have more members, but actually, I think people have a more sympathetic view of it, just because of the whole fight for 15 and everything like that.
For sure.
Paid,
that's
who knows?
That's the primary. We'll continue to check in.
Royce, if she could connect with enough women, that'd be great. I need to see that she has broader appeal than just the well-educated folks.
I think that goes for a number of these candidates.
Yeah.
But, the primary is coming up in August. So we'll need to continue to.
I think Vinehall was somebody we kind of thought could have appeal to I think
early on
without big educations.
I haven't seen anything to really give me confidence that she's going to be the nominee.
And maybe Wax. I don't know.
I don't know.
So I think Wax should just drop out.
So one bit of news this week related to the November election anyway, that one more thing that'll be on your ballot in addition to the races we discussed in Milwaukee County anyway, is there is going to be a marijuana legalization referendum on the ballot here in
420, dude.
Yeah, so I mean it's
everybody should go vote at 420.
That would be kind of interesting to see what the lines look like at that time.
Well, here's the thing: we've got early voting. So what everybody should do is see how big of a line they can create at 4:20 p.m. each day, and create a social media phenomena. We're going to have 8 early voting locations in the city of Milwaukee this year.
Yeah,
because we won the court case.
That's right.
That will expand access, and actually, even with a robust early vote, it's pretty hard to get a big ass line out the door.
Yeah,
when you've got 8 locations.
Right.
So what if every day you had pictures of each location, loaded up with people, and you're like, oh, it's 420, and they're all lined up to vote. I'm just trying to have a little fun here.
Yeah.
Well, how do you get the interest around this?
Well, yeah.
I mean, obviously, a lot of people want to legalize marijuana. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'll vote for it.
I'm fine with that.
I'm not real into the issue, but I definitely would roll for it.
It's obviously an issue that a lot of people care about, and I think it will get some people out to the polls that maybe otherwise may not.
So go viral, pot activists of the world. Go viral. Do a 420 campaign every day. You got like 30 days of early voting.
Yeah.
Do a thing like, it's 420. You could do little videos.
Yeah.
And then
you could have a Facebook group.
As it got bigger, every day as it got like bigger, and you were able to produce a bigger line at 420.
See if we could top yesterday.
You could call the 420 voters.
Yeah.
Right.
I like it. So there's that. We'll see what the impact of that one is. Obviously, it's non-binding. It's more of, it's kind of checking the pulse.
Let's pretend it's binding if that'll get us a higher voter turnout.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is, though, if you have a higher enough voter turnout and you get rid of Walker, all of these candidates are more likely to legalize marijuana than Scott Walker. Walker said he clearly won't do it.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
So you vote for a third term, you're voting for Wisconsin remaining among the few states that won't legalize it. And notice those states tend to be the ones with slower growth, less startups, less development, whatever. I'm not saying marijuana causes productivity, but I will say that the states that are more open to this tend to be more forward-thinking and in general, I think. And Walker wants to keep us in the back. Not just on this, frankly, for me, is not a high-ranking issue.
He wants to keep us stuck in the past.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Right. And so I think that actually high turnout for this, if this is an issue for you, you ought to turn out, because even though it's advisory, I think you're helping get rid of Walker, and the good chance that actually you might see it happen.
Yeah.
Under this next governor.
So to round out the show, we got to do our White House insanity check. So
what's your best?
What's going on with the White House this week? We've got the North Korea story, which is continuing to be dramatic as always.
Turns, and we're grateful it still turns.
Yeah. So I think after the show last week, Trump canceled the summit.
Yeah.
Obviously it was.
And then it looks like he got a bad poll or two back.
Well,
and then they decided to go back and do it again.
Well, I think that's just, I wasn't surprised. I mean, they printed up all those coins. They gotta try to keep this thing going.
First they were waiting. First he was calling him Rocket Man, Little Rocket Man,
right?
And trying to antagonize Kim on his level, which it wouldn't be hard for Trump because he's operates on that level. It appears. Then all of a sudden it's, hey, we're gonna have peace, and I deserve a Nobel Prize.
Yeah. And then it's canceled.
And then it's, fuck this. We're
out
of here.
It was already.
And now we're back again.
It was already, kind of looking not good that it was going to happen. And it was when Trump abruptly canceled it. It was more of like, well, you're not going to break up with me. I'm breaking up with you first, kind of thing.
Right. There's more twists and turns than there was in the royal family during the 1980s.
Yeah. So we'll see if this thing happens. I mean, what would you venture a guess if this thing actually takes place?
I think a 65% chance that they're going to do something.
I think
they need some photo ops.
I think they will do something.
I think that Kim knows he's in a position to extract some pretty serious concessions because Trump needs, for political reasons, he needs some photo ops.
Well, I think it'll likely happen because they both have kind of invested a lot into it. Trump needs it for foreign policy creds.
He needs the photo ops desperately.
Kim Jong-un is going to want it because if he can, for the photo op purpose alone, for him to stand on stage. You think
he wants the photo ops too?
Sure. Because
he just wants some liberalization so his people can eat.
If he stands on stage next to the President of the United States, it gives him a notoriety that he doesn't currently have.
Well, the other thing is, too, it gives him... he wants to get some sanctions lifted so his people can eat.
Well, yeah. I'm
not if that doesn't work out for the North Korean people, that they prosper, what he can later say is that, well, those greedy Americans weren't to be trusted, and then of course gives him more of a cause to be, anti-American and potentially threaten our country down the road.
Right, and then we're back to square one.
Right, and that road may not be very long, unfortunately, before that happens. And so I think we gotta. I mean, I actually think Kim's in a pretty good position to get a pretty decent deal out of the U.S.
Potentially.
Right, and I'm not opposed. on the merits, if that's what happens, that they have a little bit more humanitarian aid to that country as a result, that won't trouble me too much.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that are suffering there.
And that would be a good thing. However, the question is whether our foreign policy means anything and whether it makes the world more secure. When you have this all over the map thing we see in a week or two span with North Korea,
yeah,
and then you have them just tearing apart a deal with Iran in the Middle East,
exactly,
and then you got John Bolton saying, well, it might be like Libya. Well, no wonder the Kims didn't like that. Because what happened to Libya? They offered to denuclearize, and then we got rid of them anyway. Right.
That's not really a good way to get somebody to the table, is if you think that the situation is going to follow the Libya example.
Right. It's just not. So, God knows what will happen with us in Iran. I think there's a half a chance Iran and the European Union come to something, and what it does is it isolates us further from other
that's a very likely
countries.
Outcome, yes.
And that would be unfortunate for Americans and our prosperity, but it'd probably be a good thing for the world that at least Iran would be part of some deal.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
With that, you might want to move to Europe, though.
Well,
there you go.
We'll see where this ends up.
All right.
That's episode 55 in the books, folks. Thanks so much. Check us out on Facebook. We are now up on Spotify as well, so you can find us there. We're also on iTunes, and you can check out our Twitter feed as well.
Yes, and happy Memorial Day, despite all the troubles in our country. To salute to those who did serve, to those that defend us from fascism.
For those that paid the ultimate price, that's what allows us to deal with it.
Right.